Welcome everyone to the Alaska Bigfoot Studies. Well, in a few months it will be a full year of doing Bigfoot and paranormal videos every Sunday. Shout out to all my viewers, Jomo and the kids, everyone who looks forward to their Sunday morning cartoon, Chuke Bigfoot goodness. Now this week I wanted to talk about the intelligence level of Bigfoot, Sasquatch. I think that they are intelligent, but I do think that there are different levels of that intelligence and there's different subspecies of Bigfoot is my own kind of theory. But let's check in with Rob Roy Menzies and Baxter and see what they have to say about it. All right, we're here with Rob Roy Menzies at the Bigfoot Art Gallery in Palmer. He's got all kinds of stuff. You can go on Facebook and order some of his prints. But very excited to be talking to him again. And I wanted to talk about the intelligence of Bigfoot. You think they're smart as chimps, smarter? I know you've heard a lot of stories out here. What is your thoughts on the intelligence of Bigfoot?
Oh, well, I think he's pretty smart. Mm-hmm. Not to put down primates or anything, they're pretty smart in their own right. But right. I think we're kind of basing this intelligence on us.
Right.
How smart are they? Smart like us? They seem to come close at certain times.
Yeah.
But at other times it makes you wonder why they don't use, say, the door handle or just walk in. But then we read stories that they do. People
really manipulating stuff with their hands.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky though. Over the years, it seems like I have heard of these things doing that, or the people that come in to their home or cabin and they find footprints going through the cabin.
Oh, wow.
And so they had to get in there somehow. But as far as, dexterity and using hands, I imagine they're pretty good at it. Tools, that's another question I have. Are they using tools? How advanced are their tools,
And you've heard stories.
A spear?
Yeah.
Would they club? Certainly, they probably, if they smack trees,
right?
Maybe with sticks, and some people think they do it with their hands or
throwing rocks.
But yeah, throwing rocks, that's kind of a toolish behavior. I mean, and then the nests that they have, quote, found with some intricate weaving going on with the sticks and whatnot.
Wow.
I always enjoyed the stories of horses that have the weaved hair.
Oh.
You heard those ones?
No.
People walk out and their horses all of a sudden have little weaves.
Wow.
Wow, wouldn't that be kind of fun? See Bigfoots, giving each other ponytails. But I don't know. I'd have to see it to believe it.
Now, a lot of people say that when they see the face, they're shocked because it's very human-like.
Yeah.
With almost human intelligence in the eyes.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's either very human or what intrigues me is when they say it was so hideous. It was the most ugly thing. Yeah. Says you don't want to ever see this thing again. It was just gives me nightmares. I get a lot of that from pretty credible witnesses. It's not a pleasant experience.
Wow.
Which kind of, it's like I don't know if I'd really want to see one. I'm pretty comfortable just listening to everybody else's story.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's
If you had to guess on an intelligence level, let's say roughly, they say chimps can reach up to like maybe the intelligence of a 5-year-old almost.
Oh, yeah.
Almost preschool.
Sure.
And we'll say that is like an intelligence of, 2 or 3 out of 10.
Right.
Roughly, where would you put Bigfoot's intelligence scale?
Boy, I would say a 10 if they're in the, they've mastered their environment.
Yeah.
And they definitely to stay hidden and, for us not to find bones and bodies. Yeah. Boy, what are they doing? Do they have do they bury their dead? Are they that intelligent?
Yeah.
Do they have rituals? I imagine they get sad if one of them dies,
Right.
They have family units.
They seem to communicate too.
They communicate. Boy, it's hard to point out. Yeah, I don't know.
Leaning towards the intelligent side though, more than
Yeah,
apes.
I would say probably more than ape, I would think.
Yeah.
It seems like they are. it seems like they have a little bit of experience with us humans, whether that's passed down or it's a true experience for them.
Right.
They all come into the city to watch us.
Yeah.
I like to think that we're entertainment to them, especially when we you're out camping and God, could you imagine living in the woods, being bored your whole life?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden here comes some campers. You're like, oh, let's watch these guys for a while. Let's throw some rocks in there, see what happens. So I don't know. They're get entertainment.
Yeah.
Are they that? Do they? I've heard of them laughing.
Really?
At people's reactions too.
Wow.
Yeah, surprising, but it makes sense. Why not? Why wouldn't they?
Wouldn't that be terrifying?
Yeah,
You see a Bigfoot and
they
just
scare you, and then they kind of snicker because they saw you get scared, and they're kind of laughing.
Wow.
Which is interesting too. But
Yeah.
it's yeah, I don't know. I don't have one in my garage, so
Right. Leaning towards the intelligence side, though.
yeah, I would say so. I wouldn't think they would be if they weren't as smart as they were. They probably would have been caught a long time ago. I would have think. But they know what they're doing. It seems.
Yeah.
I guess I'll leave it at that. They're smart enough to know what they're doing out there. Then again, we're humans. We're not that smart when we go in the woods.
Right.
So we think we are.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows? Maybe one will walk in here and have a conversation with me. Then I can ask them all these questions.
I hope so.
That's what I need.
All right. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank
Everybody
you.
check out the Bigfoot Art Gallery on Facebook.
Hey guys, Beans Baxter here from the Sasquatch podcast, and today we're talking about Bigfoot Intelligence. And it's a very divisive subject among Bigfooters as to how intelligent Bigfoot are. And I like to think of it, there's an adage, I don't know where it comes from, but I've heard it. If you judge a fish's intelligence by its ability to climb a tree, you would think it was stupid. Just because they can't do certain things, they're not designed to do certain things, we tend to think, oh, well, that's not very smart. But if you look at animals, there's a lot of animals out there that can do some amazing things that would be considered intelligent. I've seen many bears get into areas and containers that you would think they wouldn't be able to. I've seen bears manipulate the doors of dumpsters. There's that famous quote about, there's a thin line between the intelligence of the smartest bears and the dumbest tourists when talking about the bear-proof containers in the national parks. So, I think a lot of it comes down to just what they know, what they were brought up to how to survive and what to do. I think maybe it's kind of the theory of the strongest survive. The Bigfoot that can figure out how to get the most food is going to grow up and produce baby Bigfoots and pass that knowledge on to them. So, you hear a lot about Bigfoot being interested in human stuff like coolers and campers and tents, and they want to touch it. I think a lot of that is because they don't have a lot of stuff like, if you're walking around and you see a material or a nylon tent, you've never seen a nylon tent before, you're going to be like, oh, what is that? That's kind of weird. It feels funny. I don't have anything like that back at my place. I'm curious how that works. And I think they're a very curious animal. I think they learn sometimes by watching us. There are a species of orangutan that have been seen catching fish with spears, and it's believed that they're mimicking the fishermen that live on the river. And you hear a lot about Bigfoot or suspected Bigfoot manipulating door handles, turning knobs, trying to get, you always hear in some of the encounters, it was trying to get in the house or the cabin. And I have a theory about that. I think probably what happens in those scenarios is, the Bigfoot are curious about dwellings. They see people go in, and I don't think maybe they're able to grasp, what exactly a house is. They think, okay, there's a structure there. Those beings went into it. Where are they now? They can't figure it out. Like if your dog sees somebody on TV and then maybe looks behind the TV, like, where are they? I think it might be a situation kind of like that. And then when you see or hear of them manipulating the door handle, I think that is probably a case of sometime in the past, the Bigfoot has seen someone open the door, and they see them grab the latch or the doorknob and then enter, but they haven't processed the fact that it's a two-tier entry system. You have to manipulate the latch and push or pull to get the door to open. And I don't think they can multitask like that. I think they have a very finite attention span when it comes to things like that. They can't do complex tasks. I think if they could, they would probably be the dominant species on the planet, and they would probably be in charge. So I think a lot of times when you hear these encounters of, the doorknob was turning or the latch was turning, but the door never opened, even though it wasn't locked, I think a lot of that has to do with the Bigfoot putting the touching of the latch or the knob together with the door opening, but they don't know that they need to push or pull. Just imagine you don't know how a door works and you see somebody use a door, you would think, oh, okay, I just have to touch that knob and the portal opens. And that's not quite how it works. It's a two-tier system. You have to manipulate the latch, push or pull the door. So I think that when it comes to their environment, their dwelling, the woods, I think they're very intelligent. I think they're very observant. Like imagine you walk into your living room and your spouse or someone in the house has moved something or moved a painting or something that's always been in an area. You're going to notice it. You might not notice it right away, as in, something's wrong, but I can't figure out what it is. And I think Bigfoot have a very well-developed sense of that, of just mapping and knowing their environment and things, and they can tell when something's wrong or out of place or has been manipulated. And I think that's probably how they're able to avoid a lot of trail cameras and traps and things like that people set up, is they're just super observant and they notice little things, and they have come to associate things out of place or maybe even just the presence of humans with something to avoid. I think maybe if it's a dwelling or something that's been there for a while, they may be emboldened and they may go and manipulate it or touch it for a little bit. Like the tents where people are sleeping, maybe they watch it for a couple hours, say, okay, nothing's going on, I'm going to go up and I'm going to see what this is. But I think, intelligence is relative. If you leave an iPad out in the woods, I don't think a Bigfoot's going to come along and be able to figure out how to use it. But at the same time, I think for how they survive and what they do, I think they're extremely intelligent. And I think their primary goal in life is probably to avoid detection. I think they have been able to thrive. They correlate survival with stealth, I think, and that's probably their main focus, is remaining undetected, and they think as long as I'm hidden, I'm good, and that's what they put most of their effort toward.
Well, there you go. I think that some Bigfoot are almost on human kind of Stone Age level of intelligence, maybe even more. They're obviously able to cover their tracks, hide and not be found, take care of their remains. A lot of that takes a lot of intelligence. I think they understand what some technology is, and they know to kind of keep away from humans. Others, I think, are more of the orc baboon style subspecies of Bigfoot, and they're just very kind of base, visceral, like wild gorillas living out into the wild, a little more animal-like than human, and those are the ones that you really have to be careful of, and the smart ones too, because they can be very cunning. But I'm very excited for some of our expeditions we're going to be making. It's coming up here in just a few weeks, so we're going to have some good videos for you, but keep tuning in every Sunday, and really appreciate you guys. This is Chuke signing out.